Well, I was going to play the Johnny P ad. That is until Windows decided to mess up my audio devices and reroute stuff from the mix. Instead of going through the mixer, it wanted to go through my monitor. So I'm sorry about that. We'll play the Johnny P ad when we pitch it to break here after a while. Good evening, everybody. This is the official, unofficial CWF Mid-Atlantic After Show for episode 140 of Worldwide. I'm sorry, John. Don't go through the app. Are you going through, as far as YouTube goes, which we'll get to YouTube in a minute, but if you're going through an app on your phone, you probably are better off watching Worldwide, I found, through an actual computer instead of an app. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. We got a lot to discuss here, especially with the episode here, episode 140 again. One title change and one quote-unquote title change here tonight. Man, I got to tell you, this episode, from 2 matches on this episode, but man, they were just awesome matches. We also will have an interview with the Fury, Michael McAllister, coming up in this episode. So make sure you stick around for that. Got the drive on iPad. Yeah, that's Apple for you. That's all I can say about that. That's Apple for you. But anyway. But yeah. I'll put it to you this way. I'm getting ready to trade in my iPhone once the government tax refund comes in. So, and I just got the iPhone a year ago. So, anyway, let's get into the episode. We'll get into the interview after we review the episode. I drove, I believe I clocked it at like 160 miles total to get this interview. So you people better enjoy it. No, in all seriousness, I had a lot of fun traveling to meet Michael McAllister yesterday at his shop, at his engraving shop, and you'll learn a lot more about the engraving shop in the interview. And we rumor is we have a new official, unofficial sponsor. The screen is going to fill up with sponsors. And speaking of sponsors, our first ever official, unofficial sponsor is American Lucha Designs. Look, if you need any type of graphic designing done, if you need merchandise supplied to you, if you're a pro wrestler and need merchandise, or a fellow podcaster like me and want to start selling merchandise, the boys over at American Lucha Designs can hook you up. Contact them on Twitter at American Lucha, or go to their brand new website, their new revamped website at AmericanLuchaDesigns.com. We kicked off episode 140, which was BattleCade 18 Part 3, with Eric Royal taking on Jesse Adler for the CWF Mid-Atlantic TV title. And I got to tell you guys, man, this to me was just again, you got to put over Eric Royal here, man. Royal just is freaking crazy. I mean, this is not the best Adler match I've seen as far as Adler goes, but, and that's actually coming in a couple weeks, believe it or not. But Adler just continues to dive, man, or just continues to build. Royal continues to impress, and the first thing I have here on my notes is that dive outside from Adler onto Royal, and Royal is just so good at being a heel. I don't miss. Is it bad that, I was watching that video that Johnny P made, and I don't miss babyface Eric Royal at all. I really don't. Later on in the match, we got a baseball slide by Adler, which he caught himself on the turnbuckle pad, but Royal ended up turning that into a knee breaker, which was very well done. We got the merry-go-round by Royal. I think they called it the merry-go-round, or it might have been the... all I know is it looked like a kind of like a tilt-the-world backbreaker, but I think they called it the merry-go-round by Royal. They got the big German suplex by Adler. They called it a new move. His back's probably sore from carrying Adler. Oh man, those are big words in our chat room tonight. By the way, if you're listening to this on the archive, I encourage you to listen to us every Wednesday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time and get in the chat room and chat with the CWF family. And later on in the match, we got a Dragon Rana by Adler. It's been a while since I've seen a Dragon Rana, period, which was freaking amazing by Adler. Then we got the Space Jam by Royal, Power Bomb by Royal, into some form of a cloverleaf hold there. Later on, Shooting Star press by Adler, but the coach interrupts it, and Royal turns that into a tackle for the win. And your new CWF Worldwide Television Champion is Eric Royal. I want to say from a booking standpoint, this was the right move. Kind of sloppy. I don't know if it was. There were some stuff in this match that was sloppy, and to tell you the truth, I've been championing for this ever since the Rumble. I don't think that they should have put the title on Adler at the Rumble. I felt like almost. I don't want to say this because I will say it. It's almost as if Adler didn't deserve it. He's a good worker. He's a good kid. He's always been nice to me every time I've seen him in person, but just the way he was booked to come in there and bam, get that title. Taking it off Eric Andrews, who had that incredible title reign. And I didn't agree with it. Again, all wrestling to me, especially nowadays, you know, you got people doing dick flips for crying out loud. I guess that means that all wrestling is now subjective. But I didn't agree with it then, and I think the only way that they could really get out of it is I'll put it to you this way, it took them 2 months to lose that title. So, and again, it's not a knock on Jesse Adler, it's the way he was booked that I had a problem with. If Adler would have came back in and resumed his place in the RGL, maybe contributing toward this Dirty Daddy heel turn that I have a feeling is coming up, by taking the title off Daddy, or maybe they could have booked that triple threat, or booked that RGL match into a triple threat somehow. I don't know, but they could have found something else to do with Adler is my point. After the match, Coach brings out Mace Lee and brings out Roy Wilkins as well. And then we got right into our next match. And I will tell you this, even sitting there live, as soon as Mace Lee and Roy Wilkins, or Mace Lee and Eric Royal and Coach, and as soon as those three guys were staying out, well, Coach gets a bye because he's always out there, but as soon as Royal and Mace were out there, I was like, okay, Trevor's retaining. They're going to do he's overcome the entire All-Stars and he's going to get the win. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, I did write down some stuff here. You know, Trevor Lee coming out with a, to never leave Harlan alive. And I got to say, he came out with a robe on. Almost looking like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Or Qui-Gon Jinn from Star Wars. If I know everybody's going, "Oh, Joe, you're such a nerd." Yeah, it looked like a damn Jedi robe is what it reminded me of. And of course he had CWF painted over his heart, and no matter what, it's still gonna hurt over his back, which I found really cool. It was awesome seeing that live. William Cross comes out and unveils the new CWF Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight title belt. I remember sitting there, and you can even hear me say this on Worldwide as he's talking. I'm like, oh, new belt. We're getting a new belt. And Johnny goes, I'll take the old one. I remember Johnny P looking up at Cross, he just, yelling out, hey, I'll take the old one, because he liked the old one. And I like the old belt too. But But I remember overhearing somebody talking about Tommy Dreamer being in the Sportatorium a few months back on a show that shall not be named. And one of the things he mentioned was, I like the title belt, but get rid of the rebel flags on it. Get rid of the Confederate flags on it. And they've done that. For the promotion, I think it needs to be done for political correctness, and it needs to be done. The last thing you want is somebody sitting there going, they got Confederate flags on the title. Watch out. That must mean something. Okay. But, even though an African American is the very first Grand Slam champion in the history of the company, you're always going to have those people out there that are going to make much to do about nothing. And so, for 2016, 17, 18 standards, Tommy Dreamer was right. So that's one of the major changes that they made to that belt was taking the Confederate flag off of it. It's a smart thing to do. I totally agree with it 100%. The more I see that new title, the more it grows on me. It looks, the buckles, the plates on it look bigger than the old one. They look a little bit more streamlined than the old one. Other than that, some minor tweaks to the shape of the belts or the shape of the plates and the Confederate flag coming off of it, it's the same belt. I actually, I like the new one. I really do. So Trev ends up taking out the coach early on and goes after Roy, and the All-Stars basically interfering on the outside when they can. Get a PK to Royal, penalty kick to Royal there, penalty kick to Lee. How'd it come off to compare to live, they're asking. The show itself, to me, I can't really, the matches on tonight's show were good, just as good live, or just as good on YouTube as they were live. Both matches were you can't really, this isn't one of those things where I could say, oh, it came off better on YouTube. No, it came off about the same. Which I think is what you want to achieve with a YouTube show. Shout out to Jonathan Miller in our chat room. Look, chat room's there for a reason, guys. Those of you watching on YouTube and Twitch, please feel free to use that chat room and talk with each other, talk with me. I'm going to open up the phone lines later. You can call in live. I'm going to do that probably between the interview and the review here. So they're brawling around in the crowd, grabbing chairs. They get back in the ring, and Trevor Lee sits down Roy on a chair, Roy sits Lee down on the chair and blocks it and shoves Roy's ankle into the chair. Does Lee? It was. This whole match was kind of had a tone of. It kind of reminded me of the Cody Rhodes Ibushi match at Wrestle Kingdom, even though this happened before Wrestle Kingdom. Of the Cody Rhodes Ibushi match was kind of like they'd fight for a bit and Brandy would interfere. They'd fight for a bit, Brandy would interfere. And that's kind of like what this was, even though it happened a full five or 6 days beforehand. Lee and Wilkins would fight for a little bit, All-Stars would interfere. Lee and Wilkins would fight for a little bit, the All-Stars would interfere again. It's scary how there's parallels there and similarities there. I did like Roy attacking on the outside, and then the mouthpiece came into play earlier with them getting a new mouthpiece for Roy and cleaning the mouthpiece and giving him a new one. Royal attacking him on the outside was great. Trevor Lee grabbing his head at certain points during the match. One point in the match in particular, after the brass knuckles shot, that hook shot, not wanting to. I think it was the brass knuckles, not wanting to referee Red Jones to check the forehead. Get some wicked abdominal stretch here by Roy. I like when Roy, they don't call him the technical wizard for nothing. Every time he puts on a hold like that, whether it be the 7th inning stretch, the abdominal stretch, that golf swing that he does, the Cincinnati Destroyer, everything he does is just so gosh darn fluid, man. That's why he's one of the best. That's why he's one of the ones that have carried that company, you know. I can't help but call Roy Wilkins out on this. Kevin Gale's in our chat room. Except the Rhodes Ibushi match was 10 times better. It's apples and oranges, man. I've tried to stop comparing New Japan to crap all the time. Or a long time ago. You can't really compare the two. CWF is just a completely different flavor and needs to be put up on a pedestal of its own, in my opinion. That's why I do the show. Rhodes versus Ibushi, if I'm going to talk about Rhodes versus Ibushi, since you put it in the chat room, I enjoyed it. It was no match of the year candidate. It wasn't worth 3 or 4. It was maybe a 3-star match at best. Because it was just formulaic. I mean, you know, I expected more out of those two. But anyway, let's get back to the CWF Worldwide episode. Multiple cross faces by Trevor Lee. It's nice to actually see cross faces, you know, that you can actually do. And you can actually do those in amateur wrestling, cross faces with that forearm. Coach then removes the turnbuckle pad, and it ends up backfiring. Lee gets sent into the turnbuckle. Eric Royal gets sent into some chairs propped up in the corner. Later on in the match, Trevor Lee slaps Wilkins on the face, and I'll be honest, I got to put Brad over here. The comment of, he just slapped the shit out of Wilkins. That was warranted, and it was well placed. Trevor ends up getting the brass knuckles after Coach slips him on his finger. Roy ends up going after the hand of Trevor Lee with the knucks on it, knocking the knucks off the hand. Trevor ends up setting some chairs. Roy low blows him. They end up brawling up on the top turnbuckle. And a Cincinnati Destroyer off the top rope. And Cecil's comment of, oh shit, he's dead, which is absolutely phenomenal. That was a phenomenal call by Cecil. Then on in the match, we see Mace Lee undoing the bottom rope. Coach ends up giving Wilkins another mouthpiece. They end up setting up to where Coach is going to hit Trevor Lee with the hook, the turnbuckle hook. And he ends up hitting Roy Wilkins instead, thus the blood. Get a little bit of blood there. Let me tell you something about the blood in this. I heard a lot of people sit there and say, well, it needed to be more blood. It needed to be more. I liked it. I don't have a problem with it. Nobody had to, come on. It's clear that it was some kind of blood capsule or, something. It wasn't quote unquote shoot blood. But it still had the same effect. It still had the same meaning. It still looked good. Hell, I'd rather see that than guys cutting themselves open, to be honest with you. So after the match, Trevor Lee ends up getting the win and retaining the title because he's drawn blood on Roy. The All-Stars then go absolutely bananas. They end up ganging up on Trevor Lee, and Coach is waving for somebody to come out of the back. And out of the back from his long vacation out in California, Jerry Carey returns, cuts a promo. They end up choking Lee with the bottom rope. Lee is foaming at the mouth and spitting up. Jerry Carey takes a selfie with the group. They end up kind of hanging Lee over the top rope by the bottom rope. Jonathan Mill says, I never saw blood live. Yeah, the execution of the blood capsule was a little bit but it served its purpose. You didn't need a gusher. You didn't need to have somebody bleeding buckets. And I like the fact that they did it with the inside of his mouth. I like that. It's something new. Something refreshing. I did like that aspect of it. Brad Stutz ends up getting nailed by the coach on the outside. The All-Stars end up retreating into a limousine, which was it was crazy because a limo had pulled up. And this shows you how, CWF is setting, I don't know if somebody knows somebody who drives a limo. Maybe the limo was quote unquote donated for the evening. It doesn't matter. But we're standing outside waiting to get in, and this white limousine pulls up. And then at the end of the night, you find out what it's for. And the first thing that comes to my mind is, what other indie promotion is going to spend money to rent a limousine for a full night? Not even travel anywhere in it, just to have, well, maybe they did, but I don't know what happened afterward. But just to have the limousine, they're going to rent this limousine for the whole night, just to have the limo sit outside, not being used, until the end of the show, and maybe it was used 10 to 15 minutes outside for the All-Stars to get in. What other indie do you know is going to spend that kind of money, if they did spend the money on the limo? That tells you right there they got a good head on their shoulders. You got to spend money to make money. It looks good on TV. So the All-Stars retreats into the limo. Red and Trevor is carried off. And that was the end of the episode. We faded to black after that. And now our new era begins. Our new era begins. And I gotta address the CWF online audience a little bit here. Sorry, I have a heater at my feet here. I'm in my basement tonight, and me along with half the country is under like 3 inches of snow here in Virginia, at least. Some places it's worse. So I'm down here in my cold basement in the studio, so to speak, freezing my tuchus off here down here. So excuse me if you hear a heater going in the background, space heater. I got to address something with the worldwide audience. Saturday night, last Saturday, and I did a whole video about this up on the channel, but just in case you didn't see it, I'm going to kind of address what I was addressing now. CWF held their very first show, New Year's Knockout, of this quote-unquote new era, last Saturday at the Sportatorium. And I have a tradition. I drive 45 minutes each way to the shows. 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back. Sometimes traffic takes longer, but it's generally about 45 minutes. And I have a tradition where I go to the show, and on the way home, I stop and get dinner at Cookout. Cookout always has a long line. Why? Because they're open late. This was about 1:30 in the morning by the time I got back over there to Cookout. So I'm in line at the Cookout, and my phone just starts blowing up. People wanting to know what happened. People know, if you message me and want spoilers, unless it's something major, I'll tell you what it is. I don't like doing it, but I'll go ahead and tell you, because I'm not trying not to be a total dick. But as we've discussed more than one time on this show, my philosophy is, if you want to know what happens, either pay a ticket and support the promotion and watch it live, or wait till Wednesday and watch it on YouTube. I know in 2017 that's asking a lot out of people. Hell, I look at WWE spoilers. So, I mean, I hello, pot, my name is Kettle. But it helps the promotion if you're not spoiled, and that's what I'm all about, helping this promotion. I do this to get eyes on the promotion and talk a little bit about it, to air what we liked and what we didn't like. So my Twitter's blowing up, and I was like, okay, it's a new era, so everybody got told what was happening one way or another. And I see this backlash about it, man. About how, oh man, I got several DMs. I'm not sure. I don't know. This person wasn't there. This person wasn't there. The future of Worldwide's not looking good. And I got to tell you guys, just give it a chance, man. Just give it a chance. Have a little faith. we were all gung-ho about this, and we were all, yes, CWF strong, hashtag believe again, last week, after everything went down. And then they run one show, which they, after everything that happened, they had to pretty much throw together, and it was a damn good show live. And everybody's like, oh, now, man, no, we're not sure now. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but this person has this belt, and that person got that belt, and that, give it a chance. Have some faith. Another thing I want to address is all the damn, I shouldn't probably say this, but I've also gotten a lot of DMs this week about what I did last week and on the channel. Should I have went live? Should I not have went live? Should I have said what I said? Some people sat out there and acted like I planned on Eric Andrews calling in. I never expected Eric Andrews to call in last week when I did that video. I'm glad he did, and I thanked him for calling in when I saw him Saturday. But here's the thing. Somebody on Twitter goes, I guess you did it and you won't reveal your sources to the public because you're trying to hang on to your $10 comp tickets every show. Let me get one thing straight right here. And we'll set this record straight right here. I have never been comped to a wrestling show in my entire life, especially CWF. I never would want to be comped to a wrestling show, especially CWF. Again, I'm all about helping that promotion and helping them grow and helping the eyes get on the product as much as I can. I think that goes without saying for everybody who covers CWF in the podcasting and YouTube world and on Twitter. If I get comped to a show, CWF is losing my $10 to $25. How does that help them? It doesn't. So all you idiots out there saying you just don't want to lose your comp tickets, screw you. I have never been, nor will I ever be comped. That's just stupidity at its finest. You stooged off your source to the promoter because you didn't want to lose your status. I did what I felt was right. And I got told in more ways than one at the show Saturday night in front of everybody that I was right. And that they appreciate this after show. And that they like what I'm doing. So I'm not going to change it up a bit. I'm not going to sit there and just kowtow to a couple haters out there that think I shouldn't be doing this or think I need to change the way I'm doing this. You need to plan these a little bit better. Anyway. I want to encourage you guys to hit that subscribe button. YouTube made some changes this week that to its monetization system that are affecting this channel. We need to help you. I need your help to reach 1,000 subscribers, and the way you could do that is just hit that red button there that says subscribe. If you don't have a YouTube account, make one. Hit that subscribe button. We do have a couple of new subscribers to tell you about this week. I'm going to go ahead and do that now here. Every time you subscribe here on the show, whether it be live or taped, I try to give you a... if you don't subscribe when we're going live, if you're listening to the archive and subscribe, you'll get a shout-out on the next live show. First person I want to give a shout-out to this week. And first off, somebody said that... I think it was Jesse McAllister last week that said, I'll subscribe when you get rid of the Vince McMahon gif. How's this for you? I want to thank Mr. Cam Carter for subscribing on YouTube. How's Paul Bearer? That's better, isn't it? I want to thank you, Cam. Thank you so much. And Cam Carter has a hell of a match coming up here in the next couple weeks on Worldwide. And the next person, Mr. Kevin Gales. Is it Gales or I think it's Gales. I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. I barely speak English, folks. Mr. Kevin Gales, thank you so much for subscribing. This, of course, is the official, unofficial CWF Mid-Atlantic After Show, airing on the From Pillar to Post YouTube channel. So, again, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. We're so glad you guys are joining us tonight. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to play the Johnny P. Cream of Rice ad that everybody loves so much. And when we come back from this short commercial break, we're going to cut right to the Michael McAllister interview, so stick around for that. I want to thank you all again for watching tonight. I really do appreciate it. But we'll be right back, guys. Give me 1 second. I said when you change it to... I could not find an Ole Anderson gif. I could not find one. I looked for one. Trust me, I did. I did look for one. But we're going to take a quick commercial break here. And we'll be right back.
Oh, Dad, cereal again? Can't we get something hot and different? The next morning. Jimmy, breakfast. What's this? It's hot and tastes super sweet and sugary. Well, that's Johnny P's Cream of Rice. Has your family tried it, Johnny P's? Oh, has your family tried it, Johnny P's? Oh, Johnny P's Cream of Rice, so filled with sugar, it tastes so nice. Oh, has your family tried it, Johnny P's? Johnny P's Cream of Rice. For now, only sold north of the Mason-Dixon at a fine food store near you. Johnny P's Cream of Rice.
Now, beautiful hair is as easy as counting to 4. Introducing Rave Professional Hair Care. 4 new Rave shampoos, 4 new Rave conditioners, with a 4-point system that goes from light to deep.
I use number 1 shampoo for fine hair, with number 2 conditioner for body.
You're sure to find the Rave combination that's just right for you. For the first time ever, beautiful hair is as easy as counting on Rave.
My favorite jeans, I wear them so much, they're hard to keep clean. Every time stains on my favorite jeans fall, Mama left them out with A-L-L, the stain left, that's all.
When winter colds come.
Hello, doctor.
An awful cough.
Triaminic DM, alcohol-free, and Triaminic's the #1 pediatrician-recommended brand for coughs and colds. Triaminic.
If she has a cold and I have, am I the only one suffering tonight? Why? She took something her mother always gave her, Vicks NyQuil. I took something my mama always gave me. She's not sniffling, sneezing, coughing. Why am I? She's feeling so much better. Maybe I should start listening to her mother. What am I saying? Oh.
Vicks NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine.
It goes with the guys that hang in the sky. It goes with the lows. It goes with the highs. It goes with the girls who live in the sun. It's part of the job and part of the fun. It's a piece of America. Share a little piece of America. Weekly, it's a piece of America. Share a little piece of America.
More than 1 million American teenagers pass through courtrooms like this every year. The tragedy is that 3 out of 4 of these young people are functionally illiterate. It's a tragedy because without basic reading and writing skills, a teenager faces a very difficult future. Making sure young people have the skills that will put them into jobs, not in jail, is the answer. Our young people are at risk. The solutions begin with you, with all of us.
I want those men in shape.
Clint Eastwood takes on a band of misfit Marines.
I'm afraid of heights. So am I.
Clint Eastwood, Heartbreak Ridge, next. Wednesday.
Mike, I'm not here to gloat or to take pleasure in your pain.
Gosh, Carol, I don't know what to say.
Say cheese.
Growing Pains, then Designs on Vicky.
I see you in a gownless evening strap.
Head of the class after Growing Pains, Wednesday.
Back.
So don't disappear.
Having the flu is a nightmare. Your throat's so sore. You're congested. You cough. Body aches all over. But now, there's Theraflu, the first and only hot medicine made just for flu symptoms. Theraflu, with a hot liquid like doctors recommend. Strong therapy for fever and cough. Strong therapy for aches and pains. Next time the flu strikes you, strike back with Theraflu.
Get a little closer with Arid Extra Dry.
To get close, I trust Arid Protection. And compared to any other leading solid, roll-on, or spray, this Arid is drier.
Get a little closer.
And Arid is safe for the ozone layer.
When static cling messes everything they wear.
Try new improved Snuggle Dryer Sheets.
Socks and sweaters, pants and skirts are static free, it's true.
Because new Snuggle Dryer Sheets stop static better than ever before.
When I grow up, I want to be a track star.
No one ever says, I want to be a junkie when I grow up.
I want to be a ballerina.
Yet thousands of kids let getting high make a mess of their lives.
I want to be a nurse.
Don't let drugs get in the way of your dreams.
Next Sunday, ABC kicks off a whole new Sunday night of laughs. First,
well, you begged for it, America. We're coming back as a series, and every week, you and your friends are America's newest TV stars. Now, won't that be refreshing? It's the return of America's funniest home videos.
then Full House's Dave Coulier wants to wed Witch Winnie. Oh, my. Free Spirit at a new time after America's funniest home videos. Big laughs begin next Sunday night.
This is Joan London.
And Charles Gibson.
From dictator to defendant, this week continued coverage of the Noriega story.
And visit the set of RoboCop 2, plus Jill Clayburgh and Richard Gere on Good Morning America.
Stay tuned for the ABC Sunday Night Movie next.
Tuesday, playing tennis with Tony could prove to be fatal.
He's dead.
Fred is dead?
That's what I said.
In fact, this show's a killer.
Oh, no. Father, please, not again. Lighten up.
Who's the Boss? Followed by the Wonder Years, Tuesday.
Chester Cheetah here on how to seize those Cheetos. Cool Rule 86. Be discreet when crossing the street.
Cheetos, the cheese that goes crunch.
Think of your hands and think of a name. For years, it's healed and restored rough, dry skin. Now there's something more. Announcing new, improved Vaseline Intensive Care. An even better formula with more healing ingredients. It heals rough, dry skin fast. So when you think of your hands, think of our name. New, improved Vaseline Intensive Care Lotion. Now with even more healing ingredients.
Introducing new extra-strength Rolaids, 250 milligrams stronger than Tums EX, 1,000 milligrams of fast relief. This settles it, once and for all.
Today she gets room service. How tough can it be? She makes breakfast every morning. Let's see, coffee.
Even if you might not want to, you can't help but wake people up with the fresh mountain-grown aroma of Folgers coffee.
Great. Voila.
You made me breakfast in bed.
Well, coffee anyway.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
The
cough medicines doctors recommend most contain codeine, but codeine has narcotic side effects. If you want relief as effective as codeine without narcotic side effects, you want Vicks Formula 44, all the relief without all of the risks.
Wednesday, a moving experience.
Does your mother pay you to do that? No.
Growing pains.
Think she would?
Then a movie experience.
What do you think of Fellini's oeuvre? I think that's between him and Mrs. Fellini.
Head of the class after Growing Pains, Wednesday.
Next, it's Balky's day for foreplay. He's a crook and a sex machine.
You're Jorge Jimenez.
Ever had a real man?
Plus a schnook and a beauty queen. They're all Bronson Pinchot and Jury Duty the comedy. Next.
Wednesday, a new lease on life reveals a superstar on Doogie Howser, MD. Then the beautiful new intern has a nose for news and a lot more on Anything But Love. After, Dodger combines killer instincts with fatherly ones to save his Amerasian son on China Beach. Now stay tuned for the ABC Sunday Night Movie next.
Monday.
Come on down!
In MacGyver teaches school, the field trip could kill him.
He's gonna get hurt.
MacGyver. Then.
I think Ileana drugged my baby.
She had a knife.
This is something so evil.
Jill Clayburgh. Unspeakable Acts. Monday. Parental discretion advised.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Get my headphones on here so I can hear. I'm used to hearing myself here. We've left the studio after that commercial break, and we are sitting in Henderson, North Carolina, with the one, the only, the Fury, Michael McAllister, sitting behind his desk looking all professional. How are you doing?
Doing well, sir. Thank you for having me.
Good, good, good. Let me adjust your levels here. The Fury is a quiet man.
Only sometimes.
Thank you for having me, first of all.
Oh, absolutely, man. Anything we can do.
Let's go to the beginning here. How did wrestling come up in your life? How did it first enter your life?
Like in my life period?
Yeah.
Or just
when's the first time you saw wrestling?
I was sitting in my grandfather's lap in their home, and we watched. I guess at the time it was NWA.
Really?
On television, yeah. Absolutely.
That's the growing thing I've noticed about all of the CWF wrestlers from this area is y'all got NWA down here. Growing up in Virginia, I didn't. So
yeah.
I got introduced to it through WWE, and
right.
It's weird saying that because Mid-Atlantic territory, but they didn't run Richmond. Crockett really didn't run Richmond a whole lot.
Right.
So,
I was a big WWF at the time fan also. So.
Yeah, I mean y'all got the best of both worlds down here.
Absolutely.
So fast forward a little bit. When did you know you wanted to get into the business?
Oh, probably sitting in his lap. I loved it, but I didn't know I was wanting to do it at that point. But I just fell in love with it.
Right.
But
I'm gonna get a little personal here. Your last name McAllister.
Yes, sir.
You and your brother who helps operate sound for CWF Mid Atlantic, and he's in my chat room all the time. So I'm sure he'll be hearing this. You both have like shields on your Twitter as your Twitter profile pics. Is that like a family crest? Is there a story?
Yeah, absolutely. That comes from our, I designed it when I started wrestling as the crest for McAllister, but yeah. If you, I didn't even think about it until later on, but subconsciously, I guess, if you watch WrestleMania 9 and look at the Macho Toga, it's pretty much the same M that he has on the back of his jacket.
So
didn't know that until after I'd done it, and then I was like, oh, crap, that must have been what I did.
So the usual shoot interview question here. Where did you train at? Where did you go to wrestling
CWF.
school? So you did go to the dojo. You're my first guest that I've actually interviewed, I think, that actually went through that dojo.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So we see commercials for it on Worldwide all the time. When this airs, it's going to be right after BattleCade Part 3. So they probably will have seen the
commercial.
It's still gonna hurt commercial.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Talk a little bit about going through that dojo. Who were your trainers there at the time, and what was it like going through that school?
It was excellent. A lot of knowledge, I guess, from everybody there. Coach was training hardcore at that point. I mean, he was the head trainer. I know that I believe Trevor and Roy lead most things now, and Eric Royal. But I mean, you've got a ton of knowledge in the dojo now, especially too. But I mean, Coach was great. I mean, anybody that was in there that had been in the business for a while too. I mean, they'd always give you their input and their knowledge, which is that's what it is. It's all about learning. So
The training that they give you there, you hadn't gone to any other wrestling school before that? You pretty much...
Before CWF? No, not at all.
How old were you when you first started training there?
The first time I went in there, I guess I was 23.
You said the first time you went in there. So did you take a break?
I took a time off to earn some money to
actually pay for them. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, but then once I was in there after that, I've been there.
Okay. So were you there before Trevor and all them? Because now it's like whenever they put it on Twitter, it's like train with Trevor Lee, which Trevor Lee's really barely there. He's off having his own career. But was Trevor there with you guys, or
he trains?
He does.
He comes in and trains. Absolutely,
okay.
He's there. Yeah.
Because the impression I get from talking to people, he's off working the indies, and
he is. But every opportunity he gets, he's in there training.
That's cool.
I mean, because Burlington's his home also. I mean, he lives there, so I mean he's there all the time to train guys.
So were you training alongside him? Did you come after him?
I was in the dojo before Trevor really came around to school. I mean, I'm
Gotcha.
I was 23 then.
You're a veteran. I mean, you're one of the CW. You're a quote unquote CWF original, is how they brand you on Worldwide. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So how did you find CWF? Did you watch their TV show locally? Did you just hear about it word of mouth?
Actually, I found them on the internet. Someone was helping me, and I actually went to a show. There was a guy somewhere in a coffee shop here in Henderson, and he was like, "Oh, have you ever been to a CWF show?" And I was like, "No." So I just ended up going to a show, and then found the school, and then got into contact with Coach, and then went from there. At first, I had originally contacted Bobby Eaton. Had a school in North Carolina for a very short period of time, like a couple days maybe, and I called them the day that they were open or something, but then I ended up very happy with the decision that I started with CWF.
Right.
So
it's kind of weird. I want to ask you, how would you compare CWF to the wrestling schools that you hear about? But
honestly, I've never been to.
You've never been to any other ones.
I mean, I've been up to Boogie's a couple of times to, and participate there, which they have a very, Sean Christian is their trainer and stuff. But I mean, it's CWF is where you want to be. I think.
Yeah,
I mean, they're excellent.
It seems like most of the hardcore CWF talent that stick around there from show to show either come from the dojo or they come from Boogie's camp up there in Shawsville.
Right, and a lot of the guys that even come from Boogie's camp, I mean, anytime they have an opportunity, they're in the ring training alongside the dojo. I mean, so.
So how long did it take you to go actually through the school from beginning to end, would you say? I mean, you never stop learning, but
right, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I guess it was almost a year before I started doing my first thing, but I mean, my first in-ring job was I was assistant commissioner. So I mean, I was assistant to Commissioner Cross at the time. So
that's a lot of history there between you two, especially seeing as how what's happening now with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was Ultimate Survivor way back when it was Team Cross versus Team McAllister.
Jeez.
So yeah, for control of the company. I lost, obviously.
You're still working for him. You talked off air here, but while I was setting my stuff up, about how your parents didn't even know you were training, but your bosses did. You said your parents didn't even realize that you were even doing it until you had your first match.
I showed them me getting attacked with a steel chain by Sean Powers, and that's how they found out I was doing it.
And what was their reaction?
They
to all
were
that?
surprised and shocked.
Because you're
I wasn't living at home with them, but I mean, they just would not have. They would have given me a lot of flack, so I just was like, eh.
Yeah, I know how it is.
Did it?
Trust me, it's even as a fan, you get flack for watching it. So I can only imagine actually doing it, going, "Mom, you know that thing on TV you rag on me for? I'm actually doing it now."
Oh, they were okay with me watching it. They just didn't want me to do,
Right. So your early start, did you always have this Fury gimmick? Was it always
Fury started with when I was tagging with Evan Banks, and they gave me that. I mean, I've always had that, I guess, in mindset of having that name, but I mean, it's just like, I guess just all the pent up anger and stuff comes out. That's from in my head where the Fury comes from. So yeah.
From there, I want to jump forward a little bit to Rage in the Machine.
Mm-hmm.
You and Mecca. How did that start? How did that come to be?
Well, really, I'm trying to think how we did start. We just started tagging together a couple of times, and it clicked a little bit. So then we just started being mentored by Corey Etzel, Dangerous E, which that's where the Dangerous E Alliance came from, with the Rage in the Machine and Corey. We just clicked a little bit, so
that's a name. Corey Etzel's a name. I said this during the Eric Andrews interview that I did at FanCon. That's a name that pops up almost everybody I've interviewed has nothing but good things to say about him, but you never see him anymore because I guess he just can't go anymore. But
he can go now if he wants. Oh yeah,
really?
Absolutely. I think he still does some shots here and there, and he also, I mean, he has a family, so I mean, he's doing that thing.
Gotcha.
So.
The fact that he doesn't.
He's a great, knowledgeable wrestler. I mean, he's brilliant. When it comes to wrestling.
I guess if CWF was to have quote unquote agents, he would be like the first pick, I guess, because he's like I said, he's a name that comes up. Every single person that I've interviewed.
He's a great guy.
So you teaming up with Mecca. I'm going to fast forward a little bit because anybody who wants to see Michael's work, go to CWFworldwide.com and watch all the old stuff. Quite frankly, I've only been a CWF hardcore fan since about early 2015. This March will be 3 years since I attended my first show.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. So when I first saw you were teaming up with Ethan Alexander Sharp. And you were looking for him. And this was after, I guess, from going from the Mecca interview, I now know that Mecca was injured during this time.
Yes. He had gotten injured.
Yeah. And you started teaming up with Sis. And did Sis come after he had got injured, or was this?
She was already kind of around the group, kind of, there. She was always around, I guess. Not always. I mean, she just came in, and that's what she was part of the alliance. I guess.
I mean, I interviewed her on the channel. Right after I started doing the after show, she was in an interview. She said she's been doing it since she was 13, and just traveled down like most people, just traveled down to a show one day and started getting herself booked there. So he's, you do the whole Rage in the Machine thing. Mecca's injured. And now you start teaming up with Sis. I know this is a tough subject for you. We're not going to go into too much detail. Talk about teaming up with Sis and her work and just how you guys kind of just gelled together in the ring.
We knew each other really well, I guess. So we gelled pretty good. I mean, we were living together at the time, I guess. So we just, trained a lot together at that point too. So.
You have, and I wanted to get into this later in the interview, but you have an uncanny ability. I'm sitting here talking. You're pretty chill right now.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's a 180 from what we see in the ring.
Well, I mean, the fury has to be unleashed. You see.
Talk about
That's
that.
What happens.
I mean, is it just?
I mean, Bruce Banner's a nice guy until you make him angry, right?
Right.
So,
exactly. So
I have a business to run here. I can't be angry with everyone.
Well, even when I see you, after the show, you're
Cross keeps me pretty chill.
So I mean, but
he's helped me tame that.
But talk a little bit about how. I know wrestlers aren't actors, but there's a certain amount of acting involved. And you have this uncanny ability to sit there and just facial-wise, mannerism-wise, even over the last 3 years I've watched you, you've evolved a little.
Oh, well, thank you, I guess.
Talk a little bit about your ability to just turn that on. Are you psyching yourself up in the back? Is it just something that happens?
A switch goes off, I guess. I mean, people get disrespected and they go off.
There you go. That's what's up.
There comes the fury.
You need to get more T-shirts made, too. I like the T-shirt.
Oh, thank you. What size do you wear?
4X.
Oh, I'll have to order one.
Yeah, well,
I'll sell you one. I don't mind.
You should go to the. Nobody minds selling.
American Lucha.
Has
shirts. They do a good job.
I'm wearing my American Lucha shirt for the interview. And this interview was brought to you by American Lucha Designs. Speaking of designs,
I guess they would be the official show.
Well, they're the official, unofficial sponsor. Gotcha. I haven't gotten any. When somebody, like I told you off air, when somebody cuts a check and says, "Here, this is for sponsorship," they can be the official sponsor. Yeah. Until then, we have official, unofficial sponsors.
Well, Bullock's Engraving would be happy to be an unofficial sponsor also for all of your engraving needs.
I was going to mention that. Talk about this. I read on the website. You directed me to the website. You've been here. There's a picture behind me. I'm going to take a picture of the picture and show it, or I was going to just rip it from the website. When did you start this?
Started actually working here. People were not going to put. I was 6 years old doing cleaning and taking out trash. Trash bag was probably taller than I was, but I would get it out and I would watch Mr. Bullock do the engraving part, and I kind of learned through apprenticeship, I guess, and then started actually doing the engraving at 8 years old, when I would do like the little like odd jobs, like the name tags and the small stuff.
I'm going to try to phase in a couple photos here of the showroom and everything, but 6 years old, how did you stumble upon this place? Because it's pretty impressive.
So the Bullocks, they, Ronald and Grace, wonderful people. Ronald passed away in '94, but they were always a part of my life. And like today, Mrs. Bullock is out here answering phones for me so I could do this interview. They were like a second set of parents to me. And my dad worked in the Radio Shack, and then he also was a manager of an arcade in the mall.
Nice.
Which was fun. And then I would just go across the hall, or the big mall, it was in the mall. And our store was in the mall at that point, too. So, I mean, they knew my dad before I was born, obviously. So they were just family friends, and just, went from there. I just started watching him and stuff. So if I'm going to be in there, I guess they're going to put me to work. And now I'm here forever.
There you go. That's what's up. You're co-owner, right?
I am the owner.
Or the owner? Mm-hmm. Okay. It's weird that the owner's wife now isn't the employee. That's crazy to think of it that way.
She's technically retired, but she helps me out every now and then.
I find that nobody truly retires nowadays. Grandmother's 80 years old, and she's out there still finding stuff to do.
Absolutely.
I want to go back to talking about him. And
him, yes.
After
guy.
We talked with Mecca. Mecca said that he was, after the injury, he was supposed to come back. And he felt like, again, not to dive too much personally, but he said that you and Sis's relationship, that you felt like a wedge was driven there, and that he was going to end up being a third wheel if he came back with you guys.
Right, and that was his choice. Like, that was never my choice. I always thought I would go back into the position with him, as in Mecca, not him. But I guess that wasn't the case. I'm one of these people, I usually just go along with whatever we want to do. So
I was going to ask about that, because he in the interview we did with him, he goes, I changed the booking. I went to the office and said, hey, I went to Brad and everybody at that time and goes, I'm changing this. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to go off on my own, do my own thing. You said you go with the flow, but I'm sure you had some sort of reaction when, plans change. And
absolutely. Personally, it was rough, but you just pick up and go from that. I mean, that's why I had always wanted to do a masked persona, I guess, and that was, I guess, the perfect opportunity to debut that. That could be who we found, because I originally started doing the Where Is He? To keep people's minds on Mecca during his injury.
Right.
Just so, not that he really needed it. It was just my idea to, like, hey, let's
not bury him in the background, yeah.
I didn't want to be forgotten at all. Just kind of, but things work out the way they do.
The whole he's here with the Godzilla thing, that's when my very first night there, it was like a 6-man tag, you, Ethan, and Sis. I don't even know who your opponents were. But They turned red, the lights red, they played the Godzilla sounds underneath the ring, and you're sitting there going crazy, he's here.
Right.
And you're paid. You were working with Ethan as payment for finding him. It was, anybody, you need to go check out, I don't remember what episode of Worldwide is. I know it's in the early, 20s or 30s, has to be.
I can't remember at all.
But then, you said that you had wanted to do a mask character. The Mecha thing, when they first started playing the Godzilla sounds and all that, did you still think Mecha was coming back? Was this something that happened right in the middle of that build, so to speak?
No, I think his decision already was made at that point. So I think we already knew where we were going.
So was it your idea to, you went to Brad and say, hey, what about the mask deal? I say Brad, but Brad and Jeff and Danny and all them. So you went to them and said, hey, I want to do a mask thing.
Yeah. Basically, that was the idea. Yeah. So we did that.
Who designed the mask for you?
Actually, Sean Christian helped draw it up, but it was always my idea to have it kind of Carnage looking idea.
I was going to say that's what it reminds me of.
It was the whole Fury taking over Michael McAllister at that point. All the voices that were in my head taking over.
So the mask thing has kind of become, I won't say it's become a bit of a joke, but people look at that whole part of your run and don't laugh at it, but they're like, hey, that's not really him. That's not.
I don't even remember that part of my. That was Dark Ages, buddy.
Really?
That never happened.
Okay. So is it safe to say?
Personally and everything, that just didn't happen.
I was gonna say, is it safe to assume that if you could go back and just erase worldwide, like erase those matches and everything, would you?
I mean, no. I mean, it's all part of whatever. But I mean, it just we go forward. That's how we do.
I'm going to speak of going forward here now a little bit. You get into a match where if you get pinned, you have to give up the mask, and him is going away. And we haven't spoke too much about it here on the after show, but people do ask. Sis is no longer with that promotion. Sis is gone for the time being. I mean, she's
doing her thing, I'm assuming.
She's doing, from what I hear, she's out of the business. I'll tell you straight up.
I have no idea. I really have no idea.
I don't blame you. But she goes, the crazy part is that I was actually into her and yours character. I was into the whole team. And then you lose the mask, or you get pinned, and she just walks off. It's like, oh, okay, never mind hers. Literally, they didn't do a reaction to her, and they were building her up quite a bit. But going back to how things are going for you now, were you kind of relieved at that point that, hey, now I get to go, or were you scared? Because I'll be honest with you, something like that happened to me, I'd be scared to death, personally and professionally.
No. Things happen. It's all of it's part of moving forward.
Because I mean, it's a matter of.
It was a relief.
It just seems like it's okay. I've lost Mecca. Now I've lost this. What's next? I mean,
good thing.
It's life, but
good thing William L. Cross was there to help me pick up.
There you go.
I mean, he's helping me out.
They
showing me some redemption.
You teaming with Ethan Alexander Sharp was funny as hell to me. I enjoyed it so much. What's it like teaming up with Ethan and working with Ethan?
Ethan, I mean,
he's grown.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's fun to deal with. He's a little misguided right now. I mean, he just, but he's a great talented wrestler. So
he's just grown so much over. Well, we're getting into the personal stuff here, but I'm trying really hard not to go into it, guys. I really am, and that's at this man's request. But he's kind of broken off from Sis and grown just like you have over the recent months. It's weird how, not to offend any ladies out there, but when a lady gets in the damn way, once you finally kick her to the curb, how much you can grow and turn a negative into a positive. So you and William Cross start, you team back up again. I met Danny at the last show. He's one of the nicest people I think I've ever met in my life. What's it like
Cross
working?
Is a great guy.
What's it like working with him?
Oh, it's
or working for him, I should say.
Oh, absolutely. It's great. He's a helping mentor and show me some ways to help, control anger and keep me in an even keel to focus this thing.
And now you're teaming with Nick Richards.
Absolutely.
And that's a weird dichotomy. I don't think I would have ever guessed would happen.
Oh no, it'll be great. Nick needed a little pickup there too. So
well, I mean, you
William O'Cross likes to help out. So
you two.
That's what he's doing.
It's kind of like you're the odd couple of CWF in a lot of ways. I mean, but then you're also gelled together. Again, one door closed and another door opened up for you. Do you see this as a way to branch out a little bit more? And
oh, I think so.
You're starting to wear the nice singlets again. And who makes those for you? Do you get them offline or somebody make them special?
Those have all been off just a website. I've been getting them for years.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I probably have 1 million singlets.
It's not too bad to have. I mean, and I was I have down here from last show. When I first approached you about doing this, you're sitting there going, I don't know who the young woman was. I don't think I need to know, but you're like, just go tell Nick Richards I want my fucking singlet. He was still wearing the damn thing after the show. I
mean, it's fine. He has to borrow things. It's okay. We're a team.
Well, it's better than him wearing the black and orange tights with the hole in the ass going around.
Well, I think that's what we thought. Yeah.
How much when you're in a tag team do you get together with your partner outside the ring and go, hey, let's try this, we can do this? What goes into...
a lot. I mean, that's any team for a team to work, you got to do that. You got to be on the same page, and that's where I think Cross comes in too. He's helping direct us in the right direction, and he's and Nick and myself. I mean, we've fought each other a lot over the years, and now we're kind of using that as some fuel, I guess.
I want to talk about here. I know I can't really say that much, and I don't know how much you could say on the situation. Well, it's not that I can't. It's just I don't want to. But it's a hot topic. It's gotten this channel a lot of views. It's gotten the wrestling world's, at least the internet-wise, eyes on you guys the last week is the Brad Studd situation. What was it like for you? And maybe you could speak a little bit for the locker room like Eric Andrews did last week. What was it like to find out about this? I can only imagine.
Well, I mean, it's a situation that happened, and then I can say that we're all we're just picking up and moving forward. I mean, it's got to move on. You know what I mean? That's sort of where we're at. So I mean, we have some really nice things coming up, and it's going to be CWF is going to be fun. I mean, what is it? Hashtag now CWF Strong, and that's the name of our next show on February 10th. So everyone come out and see us.
From the way you sounded, and I've heard this from a lot of other talent as well, the stuff from Rage and the Machine to you and Sis, you and Sharp, even after the breakup with you and Richards, it sounds like you booked a lot of your own stuff. Trevor's booked his own program. Maybe you could speak a little bit about this on your end, but how much of an influence did he really have as far as booking goes? Because now that he's gone, a lot of talents are coming out going, yes, he had good ideas, but I've booked my own shit for the last year.
Well, I mean, when you go out the curtain, I mean, you're going to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? I mean, the wrestlers are doing their thing. So, I mean, it's just everyone has input. So, I mean, and going forward, I mean, that's a lot of what's happening. I mean, we all give each other ideas and things like that. We're all talking. So I mean, it's a positive thing. I mean, we have a very strong locker room. So
that's the impression I got Saturday, and I don't know how much you read online.
And again, February 10th, CWF
February
Strong.
10th, that's right.
Be there.
I don't know how much you read the internet, but Saturday night after the New Year's Knockout show,
right?
Everybody starts the world, what I call the worldwide community, the community that's not there in Gibsonville. Even I'm not in Gibsonville every show, but
right.
I try to make it there when I mostly can. I don't think I've missed a show since Absolute Justice last year. So, but the crowd that was there, and again, I'm not asking you to throw anybody under the bus here, but the crowd that was there got the impression of everything's going to be okay. But at the same time, last weekend, and people are going to see this coming up on next week's episode of Worldwide, starting with next week's episode of Worldwide, that crowd was kind of dead. And there was a lot more people there than usual after a big show. Like, the show after the Rumble, there were less people than the show after BattleCade this year, which is weird to me. But I think a lot of people did come out, and they did show their support, and I'm glad they were there. You worked a match with Nick, and the crowd, it's not your guys' fault, not by any means. I want to stress that out right away for people listening. It's not the workers' fault. The crowd was just, I think referee Red Jones put it the best way. They didn't know how to react. Would you think,
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Working a match like that when you're trying, you're in your Fury character, so I'm sure you block everybody out and have tunnel vision kind of.
I was focused on winning the match, and I was focused on punching guys in the face at that point, I'm sure. I don't know if you will see it. I mean, I looked angry, I guess.
I mean, like I said, you have this uncanny ability, like you said, turn that switch off or turn that switch on. But
right. I wouldn't be able to speak on that. I have no idea.
Well, I mean,
I don't. Yeah,
I guess
they
what
sounded to me. I mean,
I was going to say, what was the thought in the locker room that, hey, they were dead? Because that's the impression I got from talking to a lot of people afterward.
I thought they were great. Especially after the main event, I thought they were great.
Yeah, the main event. Oh
great.
My God!
I mean, it was a great crowd.
I mean, people online have already spoiled it.
CWF have some of the best fans in the world.
They do, and they're probably the best fans of any indie I've ever followed. But I want to say I'm hoping for your guys' sake that when people come on the 10th and even afterwards that it's not as dead as it was then.
Oh no, it's fine.
All right,
things will be fine.
So, do you work anywhere else besides CWF?
Bullocksengraving.com.
No, I meant wrestling-wise.
If you need plaques, trophies, whatever you need.
I meant wrestling-wise.
I've done a couple shows here and there, but CWF's my home. That's where I want to work. I mean, I've never seeked anywhere else out to work, really.
So you could never see yourself like a Trevor Lee going on the Indies, working primarily.
I mean, if somebody really wanted me to do something, I might.
I was going to ask. Like,
I've got this shop too, so
I was going to say
it's hard to travel.
You got this, and it's not. I could sit there and see if that phone rang right now, and it's Triple H on the other line. Like,
Thanks.
Well, what I was saying is, like, if Triple H is on the line, goes, "Hey man, we want to sign you up." I'd
sell him a plaque, man. That's fine.
You'd sell him a plaque, but you need plaques for your NXT awards, okay?
Maybe.
But I mean, like, if he says, "Hey, we want to sign you to a deal," you couldn't leave this. I mean, because this is built already. I couldn't imagine it.
I mean, we would make things work out.
I was gonna say you could probably find a way to do things both.
Absolutely.
But you don't strike me. You strike me as a guy where, like you said, CWF and this, and that's all that matters to you right now, pretty much. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I've always loved CWF, so there you go. Even when I was hated.
We got one fan question. This is sad, you guys. I asked you guys to send in questions. The only person to send in the question was CL Party, and I always like when a fellow talent sends.
CL Party.
I always like when fellow talent sends in questions. She wants to know who Jim is.
Oh, Jim. Jim is a name that most people call me now. That's one of my nicknames, I guess. I guess I could tell everyone. We were at Bricks one night, and our waiter at the time, because people wear name tags and they forget they're wearing name tags.
Mm-hmm.
So I called him by name. And,
he's like, what?
Yeah, absolutely. And had him convinced that I went to Eastern Guilford High School with him, which I went to school here in Henderson. And he was like, James. I was like, no, it's Jim now. So that's how Jim came around. That's how people started calling me Jim.
She wants to talk about Jim. I heard she knows a guy named Leonard.
Leonard? Oh, yeah. Leonard's a good guy, too.
Leonard's a good guy. We like Leonard. I'm going to get into some geek-type questions here.
Oh, absolutely.
These questions were asked. These questions were... Well, when I say geek, I mean it in the... Probably people are sitting there going, why are you asking this shit? These questions spoke... But they said they wanted inside the actor style interviews, so I'm going to ask the inside the actor studio questionnaire.
Oh, okay.
Michael McAllister, what is your favorite word?
Was not prepared for this. Favorite word. Let's go positive. That's a good word.
That's what's up. What is your least favorite word?
Can't.
I like that. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally? It's a crazy one to be asking the Fury.
Creatively. I don't know. A nice sunset. You can see me looking at the sunset at the beach, right? Mm-hmm. Angry guy just watching things. That
Hulk sitting on the sun.
That inspires me.
See, now that you compared yourself to the Hulk, I was like, I'm thinking about Thor Ragnarok now. I don't know if you've seen it.
It's a great movie.
It is. What turns you off?
Well, to go along with all that, I guess a negative attitude.
You haven't cursed during this whole interview, Harley, so I'm going to ask, what's your favorite curse word?
Probably, I don't know. There's so many. Probably fuck. Let's go with that.
What sound or noise do you love?
Rain.
That's nice. What sound or noise do you hate?
Sometimes also rain. Depending on the day, what I got to do.
Okay, so I'm going to ask this as an engraver and a professional wrestler. You have to exclude. You have to exclude both of those. What profession, other than the ones you currently do, would you like to attempt?
Wow. These are both things I've always wanted to do, so I don't know. I guess I'll go with real estate agent. Let's sell some houses or something, or some land.
What profession other than yours?
Just no idea. I mean, I just picked one.
What profession other than your own would you not like to attempt?
I guess sewage worker. I mean, no offense, but I mean, I'd rather not have to work in that all day.
Somebody's got to scoop up the shit for a living, but yeah. If heaven exists, what would you like to say? What would you like to hear God say when you get to the pearly gates?
Hello, come in.
There you go. You said you grew up, your dad was a manager of an arcade, so I got to ask, what's your favorite video game?
Oh, there's so many. Galaga probably would be my favorite all time.
With the trackball or the stick? Because I've seen both.
With the Galaga?
Yeah.
Stick, I guess.
Yeah.
Centipede always with the trackball, though. That's a good one. We always had Super Mario Brothers. It was fun. It was good being an arcade place.
The Super Mario Brothers, was it the one where you went and kicked the animals in the pipes, or was it the actual?
That was actually just Mario Brothers. I think Super Mario Brothers was the
classic,
what everyone knows now. Yeah. There was both.
So. What do you play?
And pole position was fun.
Pole position was great.
Yeah, because you could sit there and just drive a car.
Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a PlayStation guy.
Fans of this channel will know PlayStation Nation is where it's at. What are you playing currently?
Actually, Skyrim. My brother. Thank you, Jesse.
For the Switch? Or is it for
for PlayStation?
Okay.
Yeah. Don't have the Switch. Sorry. Still.
I had to sell mine. I was heartbroken because I love that. Well, I sold it when nothing's coming out, and like a month after I sell it, all this crap starts coming out for it.
Of course.
I was gonna TV shows, movies. What do you do when you're not here or at CWF?
Oh, that's because I'm here a lot. So most anything. I mean, I watch a lot of wrestling. I mean, I watch the network a lot, and I mean that's just random stuff, really.
I can't see. I'm not the type of person.
I just watch random things.
I'm not the type of person that could just sit there and just watch that network all day. It's good to have it.
Yeah.
I have it basically because it's like, okay, $10 for two pay-per-views a month.
Right.
But they've added Mid-Atlantic to it. Have you been going back and watching that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's like, hey, I remember watching this as a kid.
I have recently been watching on Netflix The Black Mirror. That's been interesting.
A lot of people have been saying that's a really good show. I haven't gotten into it yet.
It's been all right.
Like my kids watched something and they were eating fish sticks on there. And then they were like, you go out and buy me some fish sticks. So I had to go out and buy it's 2:00 in the afternoon and I had to go out and buy these kids fish sticks.
Hopefully you made macaroni and cheese with it.
No, I think one of them did. I think, but and then I was like, I haven't eaten a fish stick since I was probably my son's age, my youngest son's. And I bit into one. I was like, these taste good. So I made some for myself.
That's right. They make a good sandwich too.
So obviously, Bullock's Engraving. Go ahead, give out the address so people come down here and get some stuff.
Oh yeah, bullocksengraving.com. Go to the website and it's got our address, phone number, showroom hours. However, I mean, if you need something, just call the store number and leave a message. I'll get back with you. And you mentioned some sort of discount if they mention the after show. Yeah. If you're still listening to this,
thank you.
Just mention the show here and let me know, and we'll get like a 10% off on your next purchase.
There you go. We got another official unofficial sponsor. That's awesome.
That's right.
I'm gonna have to put your logo on the screen next to the American Lucha Boys now.
We appreciate it.
That's all I have. Is there anything else you'd like to tell people?
Oh, I do want to plug. I don't know if I did yet. February 10th, CWF Strong, and we will have some shirts available with the proceeds going to a confidential counseling center, Crossroad Cares. And then February 17th, I believe, is our next RGL show, which if you guys aren't coming to RGL shows, there's a lot of young, hungry talent there, and some of, not so young guys show up too. I've been working some of those also. And then I believe February 24th is End of an Era. And then April 14th is Kernodle Cup.
I noticed that they canceled their show in Chapel Hill. Or they moved it. They said they're still going to run there.
We are still going to run there. I think it was some issues with some things on their end also. I don't know. But we'll be back in Chapel Hill. Not a problem.
Don't worry, Snooty Fox. Your next main event's coming.
Snooty Fox is a great guy.
He is. He is a good guy. I'll be honest with you. I've been real critical of him early last year. I was real critical of him. Didn't like his work at all. But he's nice enough to come up and shake my hand every time I'm there. So
he's a good guy.
I even told a certain somebody, I'll tell you off air, don't get mad when I get critical of the booking, because the after show actually got put over at the last show, which I was not expecting.
Nice.
But I want to thank you for inviting me down here.
Oh, absolutely.
I want to
Thanks
thank you
for coming
for squaring up your time in your office and your business to have me lug my haggard equipment in here and do it. I wanted to ask you also before we go, your favorite match that you've ever had, because I know somebody's probably wondering that.
There's so many. One that I really like, but I've never really been able to see because I don't know where the tape is me versus Evan Banks at a Project X show. That was just fun for me.
Golly, Evan, were you both just starting out at that time? So
this is after we had actually, I think, split up a little bit.
So this is pre-Killbillies and all that?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to see the Killbillies come back. I know that him and Eric did that show against each other at BattleCade one year, didn't they? I think that was my first BattleCade.
I'd like to just see Evan Banks come back and hang out with me.
That would be good too.
We were tag team champions at one point.
Are you curious to see where the booking's going to go? Because they told the audience, as well as they were going around telling guys after the show, we got stuff planned that Brad didn't even know about for you guys. So,
I'm very excited to see where CWF is going, but it's always a growing thing. So I mean, CWF is a very great place to be.
That's another thing I was going to mention is that the crowd there was, after the show last Saturday, it was a hell of a show. I mean, even though the crowd was dead, the damn wrestling tore the house down. And I got home. I didn't even get home. I made it to the cook because that's my tradition. I go to CWF by myself now. Now that I don't have to lug the family, I go to CWF, and on the way home, I go to Cookout.
Cookout's good.
And I'm sitting there at Cookout, and my Twitter starts blowing up. People asking me what happened, and I don't like to spoil people. I will if they ask me, but I don't like to, because I look at it this way: if you really want to know what happened, you'll buy a ticket and get there, or you'll watch the show on Wednesday nights. And people started hearing what had happened. They started reading Indie Insiders. And a lot of people were, I don't want to say skeptical, but I will say skeptical because I can't really think of another word for it. But they were like, oh, man, this doesn't sound good. Hurricane's got the damn TV title now.
Oh, I think that's great.
I think it's awesome, too, to have, CWF, with everything that's been going on, kind of needed that shot in the arm. No offense to the workers that work like you that work there constantly, and not that you couldn't provide that shot in the arm, but CWF has kind of now hit the dirt sheets in a way that I don't think. Obviously, you guys didn't want, your introduction to the world, the mainstream world, to be like that, because it's been like a cult, close-knit following, from my opinion, until all this mess happened. And I think that the reason why they had him come out there and win that TV title and is probably going to be continuing.
Well, there was a random drawing and Hurricane's name was pulled, and Hurricane came out and won a worldwide television championship. But I think it's great.
But the thing is, what I'm trying to say from a behind-the-scenes aspect of it is, it kind of like tells you guys, hey, we're going to soldier on. We're going to keep going on, but. Would you agree? I did a video a couple of days ago saying that it was actually Sunday. It was either Sunday or it was Sunday. That the online community just needs to, chill out a little bit. Have a little faith in you guys. Come to a damn show if you really want to see what's going on.
I appreciate all of our fans, but not to be ugly, I don't really keep up with the online community so I really couldn't speak on that. I'm sorry.
He's on Twitter, by the way, folks.
I'm on Twitter, but I don't know what's going on there.
But
guys.
So you don't watch Worldwide at all?
Sometimes I do catch it, but usually I don't watch it as it's happening. So
it's one of those situations where I was there. I don't need to watch it.
Well, that and I have a business to run too. So.
Yeah. Has there ever? I'm going to ask this. Has there ever been a time where you've done a show, and then come back here, and just been like, I'm so beat up I can't do it?
Oh no. You love it. It's just you go through all that. I've had broken bones and all that, and I still you just love it.
Nice.
Just what we do.
Well, I want to thank you again.
Thank you
so much.
Very much.
And folks, I'm going to take another quick commercial break here, and we will be right back.
A lot of you insist on eating wheat thins and oat thins because they taste good. But the whole idea behind these crackers is that you can eat them without feeling guilty. That's why they're baked, not fried. I mean, eat them because they're delicious, and you miss the whole point.
Never. I thought I said no eating cookies in bed.
It's not a cookie, Mother. It's a fruit Newton.
Oh, carry on then, carry on.
A cookie is just a cookie, but Newtons are fruit and cake.
Top Shelf presents The Impatient Gourmet.
Show you how to make a good, wholesome meal when you barely have time for a snack. Forget this stuff. Get Top Shelf. 2 minutes in the microwave, you got it made. Bon appetit.
Top Shelf, for people who want to eat right now. Joanna.
Charles.
Theirs was a love affair. A love of butter stopped short by cholesterol.
I've dreamt of giving you this. I can't believe it's not butter.
I can't believe it's not butter is still the only spread flavored with real sweet cream buttermilk for a fresh butter taste, but without the cholesterol to spoil the romance.
I never thought I'd be swept off my feet again.
I can't believe it's not butter. Love without the cholesterol.
You, behind the coffee cup, show us your Caffrey smile. Caffrey decaffeinates your smile. Caffrey toothpaste helps keep coffee and tea from staining your smile like they stain your cup. Get Caffrey toothpaste or gel and show us your Caffrey smile.
This artificial heart valve can kill without warning. Why did the manufacturer knowingly allow implants to go on for years? Now, thousands of patients live knowing that when the valve stops clicking, death may be minutes away. Bill Curtis reports The Heartbreakers on The World in Action, Thursday on A&E.
We will return to Cinema Matinee in a moment on A&E, the Arts and Entertainment Network.
Bookworks of Aptos offers a sensible alternative to the hustle and bustle of other bookstores. Browse, sip a cup of coffee, have a bite to eat, and let us do what we do best. Treat our customers to quality service and a comprehensive selection. Whatever you're looking for, Bookworks has you covered. And if you don't see what you want, we special order. So if you want the relaxed atmosphere of an intimate bookshop with big-time service, selection, and convenience, come to Bookworks in the Rancho Center, Aptos.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the official, unofficial CWF Mid-Atlantic After Show. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Michael McAllister. And I'll go ahead and throw it up here, seeing as how we have a new sponsor. There it is, Bullocks Engraving, www.bullocksengraving.com. Of course, fans of the After Show, if you mention this After Show, if you mention that you heard this interview, and you get something engraved, he's offered to give you 10% off, but you got to mention that interview. You got to mention the CWF After Show in order to get that discount. And let me tell you guys, he does some really good work. As you saw there during the interview, I put up a couple pictures while the interview was playing, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Man, got some breaking news tonight. And, of course, this is not confirmed. But the hashtag #ThankYouGrant has been trending here on my page here for a few minutes. And when you go to Grant's Twitter page, @StatMarg, he has removed, it used to say Technical Director of CWF Mid-Atlantic Worldwide on his Twitter bio. And it no longer says that. People like John Philip Havage, Johnny P, and JB, Jeremy Bryant, have been tweeting out, thank you, Grant, for all, giving us a show to believe in. And I will say, if this is true, I'm again in shock. I will say that William Cross, Danny, did give a speech before last Saturday's show as to everything going on. And during intermission, he did mention Grant and said that Grant was taking a break and that he hopes that Grant will return. That was where we left it Saturday. I've not really talked to Grant in the last couple of weeks. I noticed that he's been tweeting out a couple of things as far as CWF goes. He usually retweets my stuff. He hasn't. I don't know if I have heat with the guy or what. Maybe I need to ask him. But I feel like it was not the right time to ask him, and it's still not the right time to really, ask him. But based off of everything I've seen on Twitter this evening, all signs are, and Johnny P put up a worldwide diaries, CWF Road Diaries, that I have yet to listen to because it usually hits around the same time that this show does. I want to go ahead and put out that the phone lines are open. 434-710-4900. 434-710-4900. The number is there on your screen. Feel free to call in. I'll put you on the air. But I will say, if this is true, because it's not really confirmed, Grant really hasn't put anything out there. He's retweeted the thank you Grant tweets, so that kind of tells the tale there. It's another big shock, man, to the promotion. It is a huge blow. I'll be honest, this after show would not be what it is if it wasn't for Grant Sawyer. I owe the popularity of this after show to Grant Sawyer. Those FanCon interviews and everything that we did, especially the Stutzy Q&A, him and Stutzy doing that Q&A was awesome. And I owe the success of this after show, what little bit of success it's gotten. It's still a success. It's the most popular thing on the channel right now. I owe all that to Grant for coming in the chat room every single week and putting me over and telling me that I'm doing a good job and coming on this show as many times as I owe this damn show and every bit of success it has gotten or will ever get to Grant Sawyer. I'll put him over for that. If this is true and if he's not coming back, then I will say that I hope it's not a permanent change. I hope he comes back in the future. I'm sure they would love to have him back because everybody in that damn building loves the hell out of Grant Sawyer. He's probably one of, if not the nicest guy in the business that I've ever met. He's always treated me like gold. I can't say a bad thing about the man. I really can't. But it looks like right here, I'm looking at his Twitter page, and it just says nothing about being technical director of CWF. He still has CWF 24/7 linked as his website. But I don't know, guys. Call in. Let me know what you think about this. If you're listening on the archive, leave a comment down below. But some shocking news here developing within the last hour. I'm going to go ahead. We've been on the air for about an hour and a half now, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. If nobody wants to call in, I'll go ahead and wrap it up. But I encourage you again, help this channel continue to grow. Help this show continue to grow. And just hit that subscribe button. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for people like Grant and people like the rest of you guys coming in this chat room, listening in the archive week after week, and telling me that I'm doing a good job. I had so many people come up to me last Saturday and tell me what a good job they are, that they think I'm doing, and tell me what a good job, I've handled everything. The after show is going to continue as long as there's a CWF Worldwide to watch. And if CWF Worldwide does happen to go by the wayside, I still will do something CWF related once a week. But I will say, have a little faith. There still could be a light at the end of the tunnel. And it's one of those things where, I think that we can't, just because this is happening, this is all happening, we can't bail on this promotion, guys. Now, I will say if the promotion totally goes to crap and the booking totally goes to crap, then yeah, I will come on here and I will criticize it. I told the top brass on Saturday when they thanked me for doing the after show, I said, look, don't thank me yet, because you might listen one day and I'm going to trash you. When that'll be the day that I trash your booking. And what I got told Saturday was, you pay a ticket to watch us, you get it. You're entitled to trash the booking and give your opinion. But man, I gotta say, I don't know if I don't know. It's not been made official. He's retweeted a couple things, but I don't know if we'll hear an quote unquote official statement. But man, no heat still listening to the show. Call in, damn it. Just got a DM from Grant. See if he calls in. I'm calling you out, Grant. Call in, Grant. Nah, I'm good, thanks. Oh, come on. I understand, buddy. I understand. I just asked him if this whole thing is official here. I'm not going to show my DMs. Somebody just messaged me on Twitter and goes, show the DMs. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Sorry. So some breaking news once again here on the After Show. Looks like all signs are pointing to Grant Sawyer being done as technical director. This coming off the heels of now former Booker Brad Stutz being let go 2 weeks ago, or about a week and a half ago. Like the Katie Vick is Alive podcast said, that's Batman and Robin. Those were for so many years, but if Grant's still listening, I thought Grant would stick around, man, because Grant's been there Grant was there longer than Brad, you know? He was, you know, if you want to talk about like Johnny P messaged me earlier and says a keystone. That keystone was in place long before Brad got there the way it seems. Hell, Grant was doing commentary before Stutzy was. But if this is official, and if Grant, you know, I'm hoping that Grant lets us know if this is official or not. But I'm glad I have no heat with you, sir. Glad you're not mad at me for anything that I've done. And I'm not mad at, I'll be honest, guys, I'm not mad at Grant for this decision. You can't be mad at him. It's his choice. That was a big blow to him, man, what happened. A lot of, you know, the impression I got from the show is that Grant took this shit the hardest, man. And rightfully so. Sorry, the microphone completely fell out of the holder. Good Lord. So, one has to wonder now, what is the fate of CWF Worldwide? We got to now wonder, you know, how that show's going to be edited, how that show's going to be presented. Is there even going to be a worldwide show at all? Because the impression that I get is that they care about that live crowd first and foremost, and rightfully so. But they've started something now that is going to be a huge blow to them if they don't keep this going. Sorry, guys. I was answering a couple messages here. Again, people on Twitter, stop typing. But this is a huge blow, guys. I'm really not sure. Again, I mean, I know how I feel about it. If it's his choice, and, you know, I got to respect his choice. Did I want him to, you know, as a fan, do I want Grant Sawyer to leave the show? No. As a worldwide fan, do I want him to stop editing and putting together the show? No. But you got to hope, and you got to have a little bit of faith in the promotion, you know. We've stuck with it this long. Yeah, and it's hard to sit there and go, yeah, stick with them. It really is hard. I could tell where a couple people would say that it's hard. Because the whole worldwide era was, you know, Stutzy and Brad. You know, they, you know, like I said, Batman and Robin. But Batman and Robin also have Alfred and Nightwing. Catwoman from time to time come in and help them out. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I guess we'll have to see on the 10th of January. Speaking of the 10th of January, CWF Mid-Atlantic returns to the Mid-Atlantic Sportatorium on January 10th for their event called appropriately CWF Strong. There will be special T-shirts made, courtesy of American Lucha. Special T-shirts will be sale on proceeds going to Crossroads, which is a local confidential counseling center. You can check them out at www.crossroadscares.org. And again, that's Saturday, February 10th. Did I say January 10th? I'm sorry, February 10th. Tickets are on sale right now at CWFtickets.com. Trevor Lee looks like he's going to be there because he's on the poster, but then again, that doesn't mean anything. The shirts, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to let a little bit of inside info slip. I've seen the T-shirts that they're going to have on sale. They look pretty damn cool. Again, CWFtickets.com. Come out, show your support for the promotion, show your support for the charity and the cause. They've already said that Hurricane Helms will be defending his worldwide TV title, and it will be the return of Trevor Lee. So I want to go ahead and close out tonight. I want to go ahead and play the outro music here. I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're listening to us on the archive, I can't do this without an audience. So hit that subscribe button. And we will see you at the Sportatorium. And good morning, everybody.